as we continue to stand strong against these woke corporations, I am always looking for alternatives that we can support that align with our values. And one company that I'm proud to stand behind, and they are proud to stand behind us as well, is Pure Talk. Pure Talk is veteran owned and has a 100% American workforce. They share our values, which is why Pure Talk is the official cell phone wireless partner of the Daily Wire. That's not the only reason. We check the coverage. It's the most dependable 5G network in the United States. They're top tier, but at a fraction of the cost of the woke companies like AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile.
Okay, so obviously she was doing an ad for anti-woke phones. I don't understand how a phone company could be woke or anti-woke, to be honest. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. So, first off, again, she probably gets paid a lot for, doing those promo codes. You guys would not understand how many emails someone like I get, even get. Like, I'm small compared to Candace Owens, and I get a ton of partnership ad requests and all that for me to do 30-second spots. So this is not unusual. But this is not the first time Candace Owens has talked about anti-woke cell phones. So now look, I think obvious scam is obvious. Again, because you're just playing on woke or anti-woke, whatever, in order to get people to buy a product. But the irony here was discovered by intrepid reporters like Matt Binder. Matt Binder noted that Pure Talk USA operates as an AT&T MVNO. So what does that mean? Basically, it means that if you sign up for a plan with Pure Talk USA, your service will be AT&T. You will be on AT&T's network. I thought AT&T was supposed to be the one of the woke companies that they're against. Come with us, sign up for our Pure Talk, and you will be away from the woke companies, except that we will literally use their woke infrastructure. Oops. Congratulations, well done. Showing once again how all of this is just an elaborate grift. So, by the way, aside from the fact that right-wingers also had this long crusade against 5G, where now she's like, oh, 5G, good. Oh, okay, well, you finally caught up. Apparently, they don't exactly have the best, dependable 5G network in the United States. This is at least according to some of the more recent consumer reviews. So let's have fun. Let's read them. Now, this is from June 5th, 2023. And I found that the more recent, the reviews were the worst they were. So this came from June 5th from Roland. He says, I bought my phone in cash. The account told me I owed nothing after cancellation. The customer service made it difficult to cancel, and now I get a random transaction for 3 times the amount of my bill from when I was with Pure Talk. I will be reporting this as fraud, as I received no notice or invoice for any amount owed, and if they contacted me, they did a terrible job. Never support this company. They will steal from you. Oops. Oh, he continues. I expected that transaction justified legitimately or for it to be removed. I will never recommend Pure Talk, nor will I ever waste another dollar with a company that steals from prior customers without any notice or invoice, especially since my account said I owed nothing. Horrible company. Oh, there's more. June 14th, Michael of Meridian, said, quote, this company has been a nightmare in terms of customer support, especially if you want to port out of Pure Talk. They make it so difficult. Now, again, we're talking about how much of a nightmare it is to work with Pure Talk. Quote, I've called into customer service 7 times and gotten nowhere. Worse, their support team seems to be fully remote. Always some random person who sounds like it's their first day on the job. Many are rude. The service has been terrible overall. I had the same data plan that I had in Verizon, yet somehow Pure Talk, we blow through our data, but on Verizon, my phone and Wi-Fi is on Wi-Fi the majority of the day. Stay away. Fun. Christopher on June 7th said, since joining your network, I dropped many calls and text messages don't arrive, sometimes for 6 to 12 hours later. Given that this very basic service is not being fixed by your team, I honestly cannot recommend your company to others. Oops. Cynthia said, we virtually never have service. These are business phones. We've had multiple situations where we cannot make a phone call, send a text, even in a business crisis situation like we had last week. We cannot open files nor images more often than not. Rob says, these guys claim to be veteran owned, one of the best affiliates on the planet. They are not. Worst company you could possibly deal with. They told me I would just have to get used to terrible service, even though I was in the middle of their 5G service area. I talked to them 30 times in one day, and the conclusion was that I just lived in a 5G area. That doesn't mean I get service. According to them, then after they sold me a hotspot plan, they told me that with my phone, the hotspot is not guaranteed to work. I just paid for it. Paid for a phone that was supposed to be 5G, but will never be. Stay away. Okay. One more bad review. Brian said, the worst phone service I ever had. I literally have no internet ever. I called to see if there was something you could all do, and the rep said, there's nothing we can do. Thanks for reminding me to get another phone provider. No, look, hey, they're not all bad. In fact, they've got like a 3.7 rating. Okay, so that's not great. That's not 5 stars, but it's not 3 stars. In fact, Ted of Quincy said, quote, I am very pleased with my Pure Talk service. I dropped those blank at AT&T. Who's going to tell him? I mean, you're actually using the AT&T network, bro. I hate to say it, but you know, you're still on the woke network. Okay, there's more. There's more. Shireen of Largo on June 11th wrote, I changed because AT&T had ditched Newsmax, like literally back in January, which was politically motivated. Pure Talk has the same services, but it's cheaper and conservative based. You know what's funny though? Newsmax, literally back on DirecTV, owned by AT&T. Okay? The reason that Newsmax was booted from the lineup is because Newsmax wanted to get paid carriage fees. That's right. They originally, DirecTV just, put it on their network, on DirecTV for free, able to, for people who subscribe to it, to be able to watch it. So they didn't get any money for that, but they were allowed to get ad revenue. Okay? So now Newsmax says, you know what? We want money. We want you to pay us carriage fees for the honor, for the privilege of carrying our channel on your network. And DirecTV said, piss off. We're not going to pay you a cent. You're not worth it. You're not a big channel. In fact, you're kind of a small outlier, fringy conspiracy network. No, we're not really interested in paying you for that. We're glad to continue to host you, because you help us by helping politicians that will deregulate, and lower our taxes at the end of the day. But we're not going to pay you money. No, that's absurd. You don't deserve it. And so they asked for it. They didn't get it. And then they cried. They cried and cried and cried. We're being discriminated against. You even had members of Congress that were saying, I can't believe you would discriminate against against Newsmax. How dare you? It's political. It's all political. Even Donald Trump weighed in on this, calling it, political. No, it was a financial dispute. Now, look, Newsmax ended up actually not getting any carriage fees, although they are back on DirecTV. And again, it's because they're not worth it. They're small. They don't have an audience that's big enough to justify carriage fees. like their competitors Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. So now here's the thing. I mentioned that happened months ago, months and months ago. Somebody who just a couple of weeks ago put this comment and changed cell phone providers away from AT&T to this, Pure Talk, whatever, still AT&T anti-woke phone company, right? Still thinks that Newsmax was kicked off for political reasons. I mean, it really attests to the power of propaganda. They believe in anything that you tell them. Anything. And look, they think that they're all victims, okay? And this is the same talking point that's gets regurgitated all over right-wing media. We're the victims. We're the victims. The woke corporations are coming for us. No, I mean, at the end of the day, you actually are victims, just not in the way that you think that you are. They're victims of the massive right-wing grift industrial complex. It's not a new thing. We've seen this before. In fact, Candace Owens also had been pushing other mobile providers, supposedly anti-woke. You had Patriot Mobile. That was also found to have been operating on T-Mobile's networks. Oops. Now, one last thing. Now, I'm proving my point. This is just one giant grift. Okay? So now Candace Owens going back to how, these companies, they're so woke. They're so woke. Which is why I'm shilling for a company that literally runs on their network. The woke network. AT&T, you look into their financial filings, to their political contributions specifically, and you realize that they're one of the top donors to politicians that push anti-LGBTQ legislation. Look, this is according to a chart by Popular Info. AT&T, top donor to politicians that are pushing anti-trans, anti-gay legislation. That is happening all over the country right now. Top donor. Then you've got Charter, and then you've got Comcast and NBC Universal, Home Depot, General Motors, Walmart, Amazon, CVS, UPS, Wells Fargo. You just go down the list. All these companies. And by the way, if you see any of them on there that are, trying to rock a pride flag, rainbow capitalism. This is what we're talking about. Where you rainbow wash to say, oh, yeah, no, we support the LGBTQ community, except that you're literally giving money to the worst people on the planet that are trying to destroy the civil rights of gay people and trans people. It's not it's not corporations being too woke that's the problem here. No, the problem here is corporations maximizing, shareholder value by giving to politicians, which, yes, they pass anti-LGBTQ legislation. The reason that they're getting funded by these giant corporations is because they're also passing things like tax cuts for the rich and deregulation. And that's really what it is. It all comes down to their fiduciary responsibility to maximize profit for shareholders. But it also shows you the hilarious grift going on in the right wing, because they claim to be opposed to corporations. Oh, they're too woke. When really, this is nothing more than a platform for them to launch scam after scam on their audience, who gets mad over things being so-called woke. They're going to continue to fall for it over and over again, hook, line, and sinker, because that's really what the right wing offers today. Just grievance politics and scams.